Join us for a quick journey through the life and times of Paul Lynde, told through his own words and those who knew him best. Want to dive deeper? Check out the biographies linked in the description.
And now, on with the show.
Every theater is different. Every audience is different, but they don't vary that much if you perform at your top level. They don't. They're very receptive people. And I always tell everyone I work with, I say, always act like it's opening night, because none of those people out there have seen us do this play.
Yeah.
And you got to make it look like it's the first time you've done it.
Well,
I can't stand actors, that walk through a part. But you hear that a lot. I've never worked with an actor that walks through a part. If they do, I just get a gun and kill them.
Alice, you missed with the toast. You missed with the eggs.
See you sport, Herbie. Try the coffee.
Coffee? Oh, your coffee's always a real treat.
This time it's instant Maxwell House coffee, like your mother makes.
Alice!
Herbie, you can't miss with instant Maxwell House coffee. You're just gonna love it.
That's great.
I knew it.
That's great tasting coffee, Alice.
I just fell in love with him when I met him. I just thought, oh my God, he's so much fun. Because he was so deeply, deeply funny, just sitting around talking, his views on things and all. And then a couple of years later, I was, on Hollywood Squares with him. It was the earthquake, they call it the Silmar earthquake, or it's the San Fernando Valley earthquake. It happened like at 6 o'clock in the morning. It was 6.1. It was pretty devastating. Okay. It was chaos. But anyway, we reported for work. In the middle of taping, and there were a lot of those aftershocks, and you know how the set was built with the scaffolding.
Yeah.
The thing kind of rocked when people walked up it, because there were two spiral staircases to get to the top and the middle tier. And we're in the middle of taping, and an aftershock hits, and it's a long one. And we are swaying. And the producers, Heater and Quigley, are down in the front row going, giving us, keep going. And Paul's looking at him and said, you gotta be kidding me. And so Peter brought it to a halt, everything grind to a halt. And Paul was always dieting, because he had a weight thing that he always had to keep a finger on and, keep it in check. And so he immediately got down from the scaffolding and went to the candy machine. And he came back, in that particular, because I sat next to him a lot on that show, because we had a lot of interchange and stuff. But that particular night, I was below him. I was on the bottom rung. And so we all kind of moved away from the scaffolding, and things quieted down, and they brought us back into tape. And so I got back into my place, always doing what I was told, there, sitting. And he comes in, he walks in, and he's got an armload of Snicker bars and M&Ms and, everything from, he unloaded the candy machine, I think. And he walks by me and he sees me sitting there, and I'm looking at him, and I'm at all his arms filled with these candies, and he looked at me and he said, "Oh, you're so young to die."
Paul Lynde recently stated, "If there is anything helpful for other actors to be drawn from my experience, I think it is this: don't try to fake what?
Anything.
But according to Paul, what is it? Anything?
Don't try. I think Paul would say, don't try to fake. I want to go for honesty, because he's, he's very honest in a lot of the things he says. So Honesty.
I disagree.
That's just about it, Karen. We really can't accept that. But Paul said, don't try to fake youth. After reaching the after 30 group, relax and live with it. Is that right, Paul?
Yeah. As long as dressed like a kid.
Right?
We were out having fun during an evening in a local discotheque, and I was with Karen Valentine, and I forget who else, but we were having a ball. And this man came over, and he really had one too many, and we had two, but we still weren't like him. And he came over and he said, are you Paul Lynde? And I said, yes. And he says, listen, promise me you won't move. I'll be right back. And he went on. And I said, I'll stay. I won't move. And he says, because my wife, I've got to bring her over. She just hates you.
Oliver Hardy
Yeah.
was my idol, and still is. I didn't like Stan that much, but Oliver Hardy. And you know, when I was in my hometown, I never missed any of their movies. I was criticized almost because I dug Laurel and Hardy movies.
Really?
I don't know, the kids that they say, oh, they're so silly. And that's the word I love. They were silly,
Yeah.
and they were gentle, and they never were mean, cruel, and they were so funny. Especially Oliver. I just adored that man. And I love W.C. Fields.
Oh, yeah.
Right next to Oliver. I never dug Charlie Chaplin.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I did in The Great Dictator. I dug him when he talked. I always thought he was like a puppet. And I like human beings when I'm watching funny people. And I never thought Charlie was that human. He was always like a marionette or something. The funniest thing I've done in a movie, Norman Jewison, who directed it, was Send Me No Flowers. And I played the funeral. I sold funeral plots. I tell you, Rock Hudson, who I adore, he told me it was the roughest time he ever had to do, was to do. So we did the scene in one take because there was no way that we could do it in two takes. It's the funniest lines I've ever had. And I was so afraid I was going to fluff the lines because all you do was say the words. And when I see that scene, I laugh. And I really laugh at myself.
Yeah.
Speaking of television, what can we look forward to from you in the 71-72 season?
Well, as of right now, I'm going to be doing 5 Dean Martins, 5 Glenn Campbell, 3 Carol Burnett, thank God. That's my favorite show. And, of course, Hollywood Squares every day. So, and try to work in some Bewitched, because the kids do love Uncle Arthur, but I just, and that never ceases to amaze me when they call me Uncle Arthur. I was just in that parade today in New Paris, and it was Uncle Arthur all the way along, and I only do 1 Bewitched a year. So they must rerun my episode every day or something, because the kids, it never ceases to amaze me that I'm Uncle Arthur to them.
I hear you're planning your own television series, produced, of course, by the guy who produces Bewitched, isn't it? Yes, right. Right. What's the theme of this? Do you know?
They're talking right now that I don't know. There's a charisma about myself with teenagers. If I'm the exasperated father, I had great success with Impossible Years, and of course great success with Bye Bye Birdie, again a father, but with young kids. And I think they want to go with that kind of format. Today's family, the way it really is, not as satiric as All in the Family, but which I love, but more of an honest 1971 family situation and the problems they're facing, and hopefully comedic.
Have Sally home at 9 o'clock or I'll break every bone in your body.
He was arrested a few times. I have it in the book. He ended up in jail. Sometimes he'd joke. I know my friends, they're the ones that'll bail me out of jail. Bill Asher was one of them. It was his alcohol. It made him vicious and do crazy things where he ended up losing friends and being arrested several times.
In a way, that could have been just as bad as, his homosexuality back then, to where that could have affected him in the studios as well.
Peter Marshall told him once, you know what, Paul? You got the money, just hire a chauffeur. So when I went out with Paul, he always said, we got a chauffeur.
I'm sorry, did you say the Department of Internal Revenue?
Yes. I have a refund here for you on your last year's income tax, $17.50. Since I live in the neighborhood, I just thought I'd drop it by myself.
Well, thank you, Mr. Huggins.
I'll just keep this until we finish the investigation.
Investigation?
Major, this house is the Cocoa Beach branch of the Louvre.
I'm sorry, I don't seem to understand.
Your housekeeper was kind enough to show me your treasures.
Oh, I see. What treasures were you kind enough to show, Mr. Huggins?
Oh, you know, Master. Your Louis XV, your Renoir, your Ming.
Oh, those treasures. You sure you didn't forget anything?
Oh! The statue.
Is that a Michelangelo? I wouldn't be at all surprised. Are you quite through?
I have not had so much fun in a long time, Master. Would you like to see something else?
No, I've seen more than enough, thank you. I'll be back here in the morning with the assessor.
But, you know, a lot of people won't direct Paul Lynde, and that's their mistake, because I always love to learn. I always like to be better than I can be. Anymore, you know, I've become so identified as Paul Lynde, and the directors very rarely direct me. They just say, oh, let Paul do his thing. And I love the challenge, and I love for a director to come up and say, I think you can do that better. I don't get mad or throw a scene, if I respect him especially.
Yeah.
And that's when it's exciting, when they make you the best you can be.
I'm picketing with the women's lip group I've just joined.
Women's lab? What are you gonna burn? Your training bra?
Paul was a curmudgeon. Just like kids, what's the matter with kids today? I mean, he really was disgusted with what was happening. If he were alive today, he'd die because, you know, he can't believe what's happening.
Sometime we've got this color weather radar recently, and we still have a problem, so we brought in an expert, Paul Lynde, who has been following weather for some time, I understand.
Yes. I love picnics. And weather can wipe them out. Now, did you want me to start over here?
Well, let's start with the satellite map.
The satellite
we'll take
map.
A look at that
Is this the satellite map?
It's going
No,
to
it appears magically.
Oh, okay. Oh, it looks like trouble. No, a heavy fog in New York. Or is that London? No, do I go to this now?
Yeah.
All right, okay. Well, this is where we're at, isn't it? Right here? Is it hot or humid? It's both. Now, and there's rain coming down from Canada. Boy, look, and is this New York? My favorite city in this country. It looks like they're in trouble. Rain in Maine, rain in... Is it Massachusetts? Is that it, Jennifer?
That's it.
I didn't go to school. And sunny. Oh, in Georgia. We're headed for Georgia. And I'm worried, really, about Texas. I was reading today that they've really had a...